right, there we go. Hey, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you're watching from. And maybe you're watching this team live, or maybe you're watching this in playback. Maybe you're a team replay with us. My name is Brenda Muller. I am your host. This is my live stream series, which gets converted into my podcast a bit later. And I like to call this Enthusiastically Self Employed. If you are enthusiastically self employed, we'd love to hear from you. And I want to encourage you to, don't be shy. Go ahead and drop a comment below. Let us know that you are watching with us as presenters and as my co-host. We'll see. This allows us to know who's in the audience virtually and who's watching us. Speaking of my very, very dear, I want to say VIP guest for today is Laurie-Ann Murabito. Laurie-Ann, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. This is the best way to start the day, or the afternoon, I should say.
Yeah, you're so sweet. And we know each other from Adam Shively has a great program podcast. It's called Podcasting Business Schools, and he does his Pod Pals Zoom calls. And I think you and I were both on a session together, and we started. I think we just really started, chatting with each other there. You've had me on your podcast. I've had you on mine before, and I continue. I was telling you in the pre-show, I continue to listen to your podcast because it's one of I really great. Let me start again. I gain great tips from your podcast. I love hearing from you and your expertise and also your guests. So there may be folks that are listening or watching today that haven't ever heard of you, Laurie-Ann. So if you could tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do? Who do you help? And what do you help them with?
That's a great question most days. I am a reformed, painfully shy girl, which I know is hard to believe. But once upon a time, I said yes to a speaking opportunity accidentally, which ended up leading me down into the professional speaking avenue. And I spoke about leadership and corporate engagement. One day, hopping on and off airplanes, I got a text message from somebody that said, Laurie-Ann, do you write speeches for people? The answer was no. However, because I knew her, I wanted to help her. And I did end up helping her with her business. And she gave her first presentation, knocked it out of the park. And like most of us entrepreneurs, I took a pivot. And I came into the online world and started helping other people leverage speaking opportunities to showcase their expertise.
That's great. It sounds like you've rehearsed this before and you've probably refined your intro a bit. Is that it, important back on those of us who are speakers? Is that fair to say though? You've rehearsed this, you've given this overview before.
I've said it again and again and again. And the thing about intros is it should also sound conversational. Like there's something that I teach, the people that I work with, like your authority section. So it needs to sound conversational. And when it does sound conversational, whether I'm on stage or I'm right here on your podcast, this live stream, like it just flows. It sounds like it's part of the conversation and not something scripted.
Yeah, not stiff. I think that's one of my issues when I hear introductions sometimes. And a lot of people struggle with sounding very conversational. You do it so well. Of course you do. You work with people and you help them with public speaking.
You.
Of course you do. And by the way, I'm starting to see some comments that are rolling in. I'm going to give some shout outs to some familiar names. Meryl Cass, so great to have you joining us here today. Royce Blake. Royce is a member of my Marketing with Meller community, I believe, and joining us here today. And I see Carrie Bryson also joining us from Arizona. So, hey, if you drop a comment, there's a good chance I'm going to shout out your name like I'm doing right now with Jihan. So don't be shy. Leave a comment that lets us know that you're watching. And we're going to go ahead and get this conversation started. And today we're talking with Laurie-Ann about how speaking can help you to showcase your business and your expertise. So we're going to jump right in on here, Laurie-Ann, and I'm just going to say, what advice do you have? There's probably some people that are experienced speakers that are watching us and people thinking about getting into speaking. So what advice do you have for us?
We are all speakers. Bottom line, we're all speaking, whether your audience is one or it's many people. And to really embrace this form of communication, Brenda, on my podcast this week and in a couple of weeks, there'll be a part 2. I have actually been talking about, because it just dawned on me a couple of weeks ago about, learning public speaking has actually been the best high performance training I have ever done. It has, and I think that for any skill, now that I've really dove a little bit deeper into this, there's so much that goes into learning something new, and that's also scary. Like most people are afraid of public speaking. That's all there is to it. But when we really like break it down, like we're doing this every single day. And to be able to embrace the camera, this is what I'll call it. So we're live streaming, to embrace the camera so that when you are in front of a live audience, and that can be a meeting, it could be a presentation, it could be an industry conference, it will be so much easier. But it can all start with this little device that all of us are carrying around in our pockets, and
Yeah.
just fall in love with, like, hey, let me share some information with others. It also increases your personal brand too and builds up your awareness. So I know I kind of like gave a lot more than just one tip there.
Okay. Ask you this question because you and I are both experienced speakers, so I anticipate what your response is going to be. But you talked about we're on live right now. We're going on live. This isn't scripted. This isn't rehearsed. I didn't give you a list of questions. You don't know what I'm going to ask you next that are on here. But you're an experienced speaker. Are you at all nervous right now?
No, I'm not. But that doesn't mean I'm not always nerve free. There are times where I'm just about to go on stage. Yeah, I do get a little bit of butterflies, and this is a really good point. To get over those butterflies, one of the best ways is to know what you're going to say. So, like my intro, that's the part of my beginning. But whenever you're giving some sort of a presentation, because I have a lot of people who say, like, I don't want to memorize everything. And you shouldn't have to memorize a 45, 50-minute keynote or a presentation that you're giving. You want to be able to ad lib and insert different stories, or even just be able to answer questions from the audience, which is something that we're going to do. But if you memorize your beginning, that will help you get over those butterflies that naturally come up. So the butterflies aren't a bad thing. Just make friends with the butterflies.
What? Nice. I'm gonna have to like jot that and put that up on screen here because I think this is like as you're listening into the talk today, you're gonna find some really great takeaways from Laurie-Ann. As I'm typing this in, because I'm having a hard time multitasking, Laurie-Ann, what's the name of your podcast? If you could tell people that.
Yeah, the name of my podcast is Be in Demand. And I'll share with people why it's called Be in Demand, because if I if if I'm chatting with a friend and they say, "Oh God, my LinkedIn profile, it's awful. I've got to like do something about it." Like I'm just going to say, "You need to call Brenda. Like let me introduce you to her because this is her thing. This is what she's great at." And it's not because I'm on this podcast, this live stream with you right now,
That's
but
nice. Names too.
but we want people to, instead of, oh, let's go search for and ask people for a LinkedIn specialist, your name just comes up in conversation because that's what you're known for. So that's what being in demand is all about.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great title too. And did you change the name of your podcast after listening to Adam Shively, or was it always called Be in Demand
It
Podcast? I'm
was
curious.
always called Be in Demand. And because like everything that I do is something be in demand, like it's in demand signature speech, it's in demand the academy, like so everything just had to stem from that. But I did make some, title extension changes that put a bunch of keywords in there so more people can find the podcast. Yes.
Smart, absolutely. And I love as a marketer, I love that you're using demand is almost like a brand element. It's incorporated into all that you do. And I think that's part of being a speaker in that you're consistent with the things that you speak about. I've heard you talk about this on your podcast. You're picking your areas of expertise and things that you talk about. And if you're just joining us today, we're talking about how speaking can help to showcase your business and your expertise. So maybe let's talk now, Laurie-Ann, is there any tips that you could offer to an experienced speaker
Mhm.
who maybe isn't getting a lot of paid speaking engagements or they're looking to increase their book of business there?
Go back to the people who you've already worked with. Too many times I see people like, and I'm working with a client right now about this and trying to get him to like stop trying to like build those relationships with those cold audiences and pitch to these cold meeting planners, conference organizers. Let's go back to the
Mm.
people that you have spoken for. These people already know, love, and trust you. And if they know, like, oh my God, like you'd come back, Brenda? Yes. Oh my God, it's been 2 years. I can't believe how much time has gone by. Love to rebook you. When I share this with my clients, they get rebooked all the time.
Mhm.
So too many times we're trying to find new customers when your older customers can actually bring you back in front of your ideal people. You might have a different keynote. You might have a different
Yeah.
presentation. Your business might have taken a pivot because of technology, because the times are different, because your interests have changed. And now you're talking about something different. But
Mhm.
still, the people who have seen you speak before, whatever topic you're speaking on, they know that you're going to do a brilliant job. Go back
Yeah.
to them. Like that's just like the number one thing that I would tell people to do. That's where you want to start. Start with your warm market.
I'm going to give you a live recommendation slash testimonial on this because when I did like a speaker,
Speaker
what do you
breakthrough
call that?
session.
Say that again.
Speaker breakthrough session. It's live coaching.
So I did one with you, and I'm going to find it and I'll link to it in the show notes so people can listen to the full playback. But that was like a piece of advice that you had given to me as well. I was like, "So what is it?" Trying not to be even think about that because I think a lot of us were always, as speakers, we're looking for the next opportunity, like trying to find more and more. I did what Laurie-Ann just told you all to do, went back to previous organizations and clients that I had spoken at, and I'm now doing this. And I'm curious if you have a recommendation on what the cycle is because it should it be once a year or should it be every other year? Because I know that many won't book me in back-to-back years because they try to have different speakers. So is it an every other year approach or what are your thoughts there?
Okay, couple of things there. One, you're right. You should not go back year after year for the same conference because let's face it, the people who are attending that conference, would any of us go to the same conference year after year if it was just like, oh, she's speaking again? Like it's the same lineup of speakers. No, of course not. We want somebody different. So yes, you would probably go back like every 2 years. However, let's keep those relationships warm. Let's continue to reach out to them because Brenda, the places that you have spoken for, like, how can I help you?
Mm.
You're planning out your next meeting, your next conference. What kind of speakers are you looking for? I always ask this. I just got booked for something that's next April down in Florida. And that was one of the first questions I asked her. What other speaking topics are you looking for? Because I know people and I can help at least give you a few names.
Mhm.
And wasn't able to give her a few names, but I gave her a couple of organizations that she could tap into so that she could find the right people that are in the area.
I love it.
So
And
that's
that
one. So that's
yeah,
one thing. No, that was
yeah.
actually two. You're right. You're not going to go back year after year, and you just want to keep those relationships warm so that when they know somebody who is looking for a speaker on your expertise, your name's just going to come up again. Not only be in demand, but also your name is top of mind.
I like that. Yeah, and related to that, I have to imagine when you're asking them what other speakers do you need and you're reaching out to other speakers, they're like, well, we need more people in a marketing track. Well, Brian Miller does this really great talk on LinkedIn and marketing, and she's amazing as a speaker. And you book me. I mean, I always talk about building up social media karma, helping others and
Mhm.
promoting and talking about them online. But I have to believe that builds up speaker karma what you put out into the universe comes back to you. So when you refer people like Brenda Miller to speak at events and you pull them in as a referral, Brenda Miller is going to be more likely to refer you back, and that's going to help you to build your book of business too. Is that fair to say?
That is very fair to say, but one of my highest values is also connection. So
Yeah,
I love to not only reach out to people, but also, hey, you're a great person. You're a great person. You two need to meet. Like it's not just with my clients and my students that are in my programs. Like I'm not just introducing them to other places. I'm,
right.
I'm just like constantly like at the end of this, I'm going to be like, Brenda, who do you need to meet? Tell me because I'll be on either on the lookout or I will introduce you to that person. Like you're always looking for guests for your show. I
Yeah.
I I just know people and
Mhm.
I like to share them with other people.
Yeah. Would you say that you have the abundance mentality, Lori? And I feel like you do.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's
Yeah.
there remember one of my mantras was I always have more than enough love, money, time and ideas. And I used to repeat that over and over and over again, and I still believe it.
You've got such a warm, genuine approach. And I want to let you all know too. Look, Lorianne, we and I are, I feel like we're friends. We've never met in person, but she's one of these people, like, I feel like we just clicked immediately. We've remained in contact online. We've probably interacted more through emails and messages back and forth than we have, chatted with each other. But she is so consistent with who she is on screen right now and on the stage as well with who she is in person. When she and I are doing our debrief afterwards, we're going to be talking the same way now because she's just got such a warmness about her and she's really great to work with. So I just want to sing your praises. I'm giving you some nice,
Thank
like I
you.
said, live testimonials. I am so grateful for you coming on here and offering this advice, and I so value your time with that. And you help so many people growing their speaking business. So are the people that you're working with, Lorianne, are they only professional speakers, or is speaking a subset of the business? And maybe related to that, how can we get business from the stage that translates into other parts of our business?
So I do mostly work with, 2 different types of people these days. Is every once in a while, like, new clients start to show up, and they showed up in a wave for me, but more on that in a moment. I mostly help the coach, the consultant, the service provider, because there are so many opportunities to be speaking out there that don't necessarily have a budget for speakers, but they have the right audience so that you end up getting paid very big on the back end, meaning in the form of clients and opportunities. And if you're really good, they'll even start referring you to other stages. So those are the people that I really help. And I've also noticed that I've started to attract people in corporate because they have been getting passed over for promotions. And sometimes when you can only like get to a certain level in a company, it's just like, and you just don't have time to do strategic networking. Well, if you're a really good
Mhm.
presenter, you can make those people who you need to have conversations with, they will come and seek you out because everybody always loves to come up and talk to the speaker afterwards. So I've been noticing I've had a lot of people in corporate who have just been hiring me for presentation skills, um, aviation, also like again, having to give safety presentations to their company. So
Yeah.
some very interesting opportunities have been, showing up for me.
Yeah. And I think I've heard you talk about this concept before too on your podcast, like selling from the stage in a non-salesy way. And I I love the technique that you use, and you've even used it in our interview today. I don't know if our listeners and our viewers are paying attention, but she has subtly worked in mentions. This is a part of my program. This is something I help my clients with, but it's never feeling salesy or overly pushy. Is that is that similar to the approach you use on stage? You're weaving in
Yeah.
mentions throughout. So it's almost like we're discovering it. You're not pushing us to the sale. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Mhm.
and what I want people to understand is that when you're done speaking, when you step off the stage, I want the people in your audience to realize she or he is so much more than just this talk. That,
Mhm.
oh, she has a book. Oh, she has 2 books. She has a group program. She works with people one-on-one, like, so that people understand so that now when they go to your website, they are
Right.
looking up the different ways that they can work with you and then booking a call because they feel like they've been called. Like,
Mhm.
in your presentation, your job is to lead everybody to, like, like a line, and at that line, that's where your audience gets to make a decision. Do I want to take the next step or am I okay right here? And a lot of
Right.
times people want to take that next step. I need to learn more. They either have the problem that you solve or they predict that they are going to have the problem that you solve in the near future. And they're just
Mhm.
planning ahead. So yeah, and also Brennan, like it becomes like after you do this a little while, it becomes just it's just part of who I am now.
Conversational
It's
for
a
you.
habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it feels awkward at first, is what my clients and students tell me. Like, I just feel
Yeah.
weird saying that. So that's why I give them, like, here's some dialogue that you can slip into a podcast interview, that you can slip into your presentation or your sales talk. And after a
Yeah.
while, it just becomes easier.
And I see some people doing it the wrong way, which is and I've had these people on my show before too, where it's a heavy sales pitch, and I feel like, oh gosh, it's going there, it's going too far. I don't know what the line is that makes it feel salesy. If maybe it's like site MullerMarketing.com, like during the talk, it just feels like we just broke into an infomercial or where the line is crossed. But I feel like you walk that line very well where it never feels like it's going over there. Any thoughts on that?
It's here's what's happened, and
Mm,
I'll take like a different one of the 250,000 associations that are out
mm,
here in the United States. Everybody's been burned. Like every meeting planner hired somebody that they thought was perfect, and they got up there and they gave a 45-minute infomercial. So that's why they'll say no pitching. The
yeah.
event that I was telling you about that's next April, the woman specifically said, "No pitching from the stage." She goes, "People are naturally going to find you." But I did share with her, I said, like, "This is how I do that.
Okay.
Is that okay?" Like you have a podcast. It's so great for you to like on stage because no meeting planner will ever say no to something that's free for their audience. Is it okay if I refer people to certain podcast episodes? No one's ever going to say no to that.
Mm,
So if you have some sort of a free resource that then leads people into your world, because this is really all about building relationships with people, building relationships, deepening those relationships with the people that are in your audience.
yeah. This is such great advice. This is one of the episodes where I feel like I'm at a disadvantage as the host because I'm trying to navigate the chat that's going up on screen. I'm also want to like listen to everything Laurie-Ann is giving because there's such great advice on here. And if you're just joining us, we're talking today about how speaking can help you to showcase your business and your expertise. We've heard some really great advice from Laurie-Ann. And what I'd like to do now is we're going to shift into some audience Q&A. We'll bring
Oh,
our some of our audience questions up on screen here.
thank
So as
you.
I'm doing this right now, I'm using Restream, by the way. So there's a way that you can show the questions and comments up on screen. I'm going to pull a couple of those up off on the right hand side. And it's nice because we're nice and tight on the camera, so you can still see both of our faces, which is really great for engagement. So I want to just encourage all of you, if you do have any questions, drop them into the chat or the comment section wherever you're watching. We're live right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, and on Instagram. Now, Larry, and I don't know if you knew this, but using Restream, I can see the comments that are coming in from
Mhm,
LinkedIn. There's a little bit of a delay. It's like 30 seconds to a minute.
mhm.
And YouTube, if there's anyone commenting on YouTube, those will be pulled in as well. Now, Instagram comments don't get pulled in. So I have to like look over. I'm looking over to the side right now just to see, are there any questions coming in? I see Ann Small is watching. I see Shannon Lynn is watching as well. I'm not seeing any questions from Instagram. So what
Okay.
I just did is I bought some time to allow the LinkedIn members to type in their questions and then for Restream to pull them up on screen here. And I'm just going to scroll through and see if there's any questions in
Okay,
here.
while you scroll, I'll just
Yeah.
kind of talk to the audience. And learning public speaking skills, especially if you're in a 9 to 5, if you're in corporate, because maybe you're just like, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. So I don't want to be speaking at these industry meetings. However, you speaking at those industry meetings is really good for your career. It's good for
Mhm.
your personal brand. It's good for your company, and it helps you in those situations where just being able to share your information, be able to articulate your thoughts and to be in front of other people. I mean, talk about like great opportunity when you're the person who is seen on stages or just speaking up in meetings. And we don't speak just for the sake of speaking. I'd like you to speak with the intent that you are trying to share really valuable information.
Mhm.
So consider speaking. And if you're brand new to this, I would say, and I'll just take that you're in corporate, just raise your hand during meetings, like offer either a suggestion, a point of view, or ask a really good question. When you go to different meetings, industry meetings, raise your hand, stand up, get the microphone, and ask a really thoughtful question. These little baby steps add up. And
Yeah.
if you're an entrepreneur, well, there's 250,000 different associations that are here in the United States. There is one for your industry, and
Yeah.
you can put together a presentation that answers the most common questions that people ask you. There's your first keynote.
Oh, love it. Solid point. By the way, a couple things just happened. First,
Yeah.
Laurie-Ann jumped in because she's an experienced speaker, and she could see that I was trying to read and talk, and she jumped in, and I was like, "This is great." She and I, we could do, like, a talk show together, we could pass the mic back and forth, and we read each other very well, but you're also, as an experienced speaker, you get very comfortable with sometimes things that can be uncomfortable, tech hiccups and things like that, or you see your co-host trying to do something and she's like, "Let me take the mic," and I'm like, "Yeah, you take the mic. You do that." That's one thing that happened. The other thing is we were talking about nervousness earlier, and I said, "Are you nervous?" And she's like, "No," and I'm not nervous at all either. Now, in my first few live streams, I was very nervous, and whenever I have a guest like Laurie-Ann, somebody I respect, I would get really nervous. Today, I'm not nervous because she puts people at ease. But when she said, "When you're at an industry conference, go up to the microphone and ask a question,"
Good question.
if you struggle with nervousness in public speaking, this is like brilliant. Like, always be that person that asks a question, whether it's on a live stream, like Jihan has a question, we're going to address hers in just a second, or at an industry event. Be that person that goes up to the microphone because that practicing is a way
Mhm.
of embracing the butterflies. Would you agree with that, Lorianne?
Yes. And
Yeah,
if you're at an industry meeting and you like get that microphone to ask a question, like it's okay to say, I'm a little nervous. I'm not sure how to
yeah,
word my question. Like it's okay to be honest.
yeah,
You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself that you have to be like oh so eloquent. Just like, hey, I'm a little nervous. But and then just ask your question. Be a human.
yeah. Humanize
Mhm.
yourself. So important. Okay, so some questions coming in. One from Jihan. She says, "How do we get past the nervousness of sharing a brand spanking new presentation for the first time in front of hundreds or thousands of people?"
Practice, practice, practice. And really know your beginning. It should be I'm gonna say it just should be memorized, but
Yeah,
memorized in a way that's not that it doesn't sound scripted, doesn't sound like AI wrote it for you. I want you to just know exactly what you're going to say. Like my beginning, my opening, and that leads right into my authority section. I know that section
yeah,
over, like it's the middle part that's probably your newer presentation. That's part of this newer material. Maybe you got a different opening line also, but I would imagine that your authority section really can be the same for every presentation. So you know that, hey, I got this first couple of lines, but then I'm into like, I already know this territory. This is familiar territory. And then I'm going to go into the rest of the new presentation. That's going to help you take care of your butterflies. Another great idea is to find a local association, a chamber, somebody around you who like, hey, I just want to like practice this new presentation that I have.
that's
You'd be
great.
surprised at how many people will say, sure, I love your topic. Come on in. Like, even think of banks, banks before hours. I mean, there's a small audience of maybe 7 to 9 people that work in a bank at any one time. So
Yeah.
there's an idea for you.
That's beautiful. And I want to add to that if that's okay too, Lorianne. Something I kind of discovered accidentally, but I'm like, it works really well. If you're nervous while you're speaking, and this is for Jihan, but others as well, what I do is I love your advice, Lorianne, about having your intro memorized and nailed down. What I
Mhm.
like to do right after my intro is I do something with audience engagement. So I'll talk about pie, how to get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. And I'll say, "I'm looking for 3 volunteers. Raise your hand and tell me your favorite kind of pie." And they'll get hands that'll go up, and the attention turns away from me to the audience. And then after the first person stands up and they say, "I love apple pie," I give them a free copy of my book. And now everybody's excited because they want a book, and the attention's not on me. I've captured my breath. I'm
Yeah.
laughing, they're laughing, I'm at ease. I'm like, "Okay, let's do this." I
Yes.
I think the term for it, other than it's like a diversion, technique, but it shifts the energy in the room, and now we all feel like we were just a part of something together. Any thoughts to add on to that, Lorianne?
Oh, like all of it. I mean, like that's a great idea. What came to mind for me was cherry pie, by the way.
Right?
Not that I even eat cherry pie that often, but it also reminds me of a time that I was answering questions in the middle of, I did a little faux pas.
Yeah.
For me, a keynote is anything under 60 minutes. And so this organization hired me for a keynote. What I found out after I had said yes was their idea of a keynote was 90 minutes. To me, that's a workshop. So I
Yeah.
had stopped to answer questions. literally forgot what I had been talking about, regardless of what the slide said. I don't think I turned around. I just put my hand on my hip. I looked down at the nearest person, said, "What was I talking about?" And everybody laughed because how many times have we all forgotten what we were talking about,
Right.
what we meant to do when we walked into that room? So it humanized me and everybody laughed. And just like you said, I was able to take a breath and I knew exactly where I was.
Oh, I love it. It's almost like pulling back the curtain a bit, humanizes you, brings people in. It's just such a powerful
Yeah.
technique. All right, I see another question came in from Royce Blake. I wish there was a way, Lorianne, that I could like pin the comments. So
I know. I
the
wish I'm trying to scroll through them.
yeah, no, the thing is inside Restream, it's on the right-hand side of my screen so I can see them from inside here. So Royce Blake, hey Royce, how you doing? His question is, do you repurpose your presentations and where?
Oh, yes, I do. If I can. Sometimes I've repurposed them onto my podcast. I will share with people that this was like a Facebook Live. This was a presentation that I gave at this place because I want people to understand like there's an audio difference. So I'm preparing the audience. So that's one thing that I will do. Another thing that I have done is I have recorded it. Okay, this was back in the day when we had CDs, by the way. Okay, so it was an upsell that went with my book that I sold in the back of the room. So not only could you buy my book for $15, but in the speaking world, we say everybody has a 20 in their pocket. And for an extra $5, you can get this CD, which was one of my presentations that was on the topic of the book. So that's another thing I've done. And as of lately, I will take the transcript and put it through AI and ask the AI to pull out all the Laurie-Annisms and the key points. And so,
Nice.
like the Laurie-Annisms, those will become like graphics, the key points, like what is it that I'm saying over and over again? I mean, I'm teaching the AI a little bit more about me and how I say things and what I stand for, but also being able to pull out some of the key stuff. And another thing with the transcript is like I will have some sort of a microphone on me that's recording, whether it's audio and video,
Yeah.
because it's the questions that people ask afterwards. That's
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that wasn't in my keynote, but these
Smart.
questions are gold. It's
Mhm.
either telling you, here's what else I'm interested in, or here's what you didn't explain well enough. I mean,
That's great.
that's just gold. So it tells people, it tells me, what else do I need to be talking about? What information do I need to be adding in? And what information did I maybe breeze over a little too fast?
Okay, so let me just back up on that technique a little bit because
Okay.
I've done something similar in the past. So you've got maybe a lapel microphone that's wired into a phone that's in your pocket, not the microphone that's up on stage, right? Is that what are you doing? Nice.
This is like $20 on
We're gonna
Amazon,
do that.
by the way.
Get that link into the show notes and into the
Yeah.
playback here to check it out.
This
Okay.
is the best wireless microphone. And so I will have this clipped on me. And
Okay.
then the rest of it, the rest of the audio portion is just tagged into my phone, like literally connected into my phone. So your phone doesn't have to be right next to you, but it can be like
Okay.
on a podium someplace. This is fantastic.
So do you have to repeat the question or does it pick up the sound enough for someone who's asking you the question?
Um, I'll repeat the question.
Okay. Yeah.
And I repeat it one for the audio, but also two for the audience, because sometimes people will ask a question and not everybody can
Right.
hear because
True. Yeah.
like there's some people that they're just a little bit hard of hearing, and depending on the acoustics of the room that you're
Mhm.
speaking in, not everybody can hear. So just repeat it.
I love it. That's great advice. Well, Lorian, I want to start to wrap up the conversation here for today. And for those who joined us late, you should watch the playback. It's here on LinkedIn. You can go over on YouTube if you want to watch it in there as well. But today, Lorian was giving us some really great tips on how speaking can help you to showcase your business and your expertise. Now, Lorian, if people are interested in working with you, can you remind us what are the services that you offer and where can we go to find out more?
Okay, I have a variety of different ways to work with me, from very high touch one-on-one all the way down to group programs. And the best thing to do is actually just to book a speaker success call And you can find that on my website, which is speakandstandout.com. But if you want to actually know what the URL is, it's speakandstandout.com/speaker dash success. And we'll sit down and we'll just chit chat about your particular situation. And then I will provide, chances are, a proposal for you with 3 different options on how we can work together so that you can make that decision. And there's a reason why it's 3 choices. And I talk all about this. It's basically like there's something about the human brain having 3 choices. One, I just feel like if I don't like it, there's nothing else. When you only give people 2 choices, it's this or that. But when you give people 3 choices, they feel like I have choice. I don't like this. That's not right. But it's literally like Goldilocks and the 3 bears.
Guilty options. I love it. So speakandstandout.com. I'm going to also put this in show notes in case someone's listening to this in the playback, and speaker dash success to get to that page where they can book that speaker
Yeah.
discovery call with you, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So whether
Awesome.
you're in corporate and you want some presentation training, or you are a coach, a consultant, and you're like, I have got to get better visibility, like really strategic visibility, and I want to get in front of audiences that are filled with my ideal clients and have a speech that you can use again and again and again. Because when you have the same speech and use the same speech, you get really good at delivering that speech.
I love it. Love it. So, and I'm also going to drop on here LinkedIn because you know that's my game, LinkedIn. So, I'm going to
Yes.
encourage anyone who's watching, if you want to connect with Laurie-Ann, you can go to her profile. Do you have any special instructions for people that might be looking to connect with you?
Oh, I am an open book when it comes to the speaking world, whether you're doing it for corporate or for coaching and entrepreneurial reasons. Feel free to connect with me on your favorite platform. But here on LinkedIn, I would also say, yeah, like send me a message afterwards. It says where that you heard me on this wonderful podcast with Brenda, so that, and then I'll connect back with you. And chances are we will start a conversation because remember, connection's one of my highest values.
Yeah, I love it. Great. Thank you, Laurie-Ann. And for those that are watching, I want to thank you all for watching. If you left a comment, we'll make sure to reply back to you. I always look at its comments after the show ends. If you're watching the playback, continue to leave the comments because we'll continue to look at your comments afterwards as well. And one other thing you can do for us, if you have not yet posted on LinkedIn this week, this month, heck, even this year, as soon as the video is done playing, there'll be a little share icon at the bottom. Click on that share icon and share it along, and that counts as your LinkedIn post. And tell people why they should watch, or maybe one key takeaway for you. When you do so, be sure to tag Laurie-Ann and myself. Use the @sign to tag us in. That way we'll get notified and we'll comment back, which helps to jumpstart your engagement. So, little tip within a tip for
Thank you.
all of you.
Thank you.
There
Yes.
you go. All right, Laurie-Ann, any final comments for us today for speakers or would-be speakers that might be watching us?
Just go do the thing. Go do the thing and know that the next one's going to be a little better and then a little better and a little better. It is literally like compound interest. You
Yeah.
cannot go wrong learning public speaking skills.
Awesome. Well, Lorian's a great place to start. So again, I want to give a shout out to her and encourage all of you to follow her, look up her website, check out those free resources. So, Lorian, it's been such a delight. Thank you so much again for joining today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been such a delight. And I think we should have the conversation after you end this, that we should bring you on my podcast, not as a speaker breakthrough session, but as a LinkedIn expert.
Oh, I would love that. And you also have some great interaction here. See, so thank you, Ryan. We'll definitely talk about this. So I want to thank our audience for watching. I wish you all a great day. And reminder that I'll be going broadcasting through the end of the year on Thursdays at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time, or you can look at my website to see my upcoming calendar events. With that said, have a great day, everyone. Thank you.